the Chip and Joanna. I don't know if y'all the Fixer Upper people.
Yeah, yeah.
They've kind of given Waco a better name. So, um, than we had before. But it's actually
Sure.
the town just outside of Waco. So we're country people out in the country.
Okay. Yeah,
You know.
I was wondering. So I couldn't sleep last night, and I went down I went down a YouTube rabbit hole of 100% Bogey Biker last night. So
Oh, did you? Oh, wow.
yeah. So I just I was like, I'd watched a few things here and there, and I didn't want to feel like a complete jackass and be like, oh yeah, I have no
Yeah.
idea what you're doing on YouTube
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I watched I don't know, probably 10 videos last night, just kind of randomly going through and I totally did the YouTube rabbit hole right. I like completely looked at the thumbnails and the titles, and I was like,
Yeah.
I based my decision on what I was going to watch solely on titles and thumbnails.
It's
So
hey, that's what everybody does. It's the most
It
important
is.
part. Unfortunately, it's the
yeah,
most important part.
yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And the
Yeah.
first one I watched was the ST video,
Okay.
the Lowrider S video converted
Okay.
to an ST, right?
Yeah, I
So
got you.
yeah, that was the first one I watched, and then I was like, okay, well I can't watch all the early or all the like the local stuff. I got to go all the way back. So then I
Oh
scrolled
gosh.
all the way back to the beginning. And I love doing
Oh.
that. I love it when I did it to myself too, because like when I first started recording myself on camera, you realize what a fucking moron you sounded like.
Oh my
And
God.
and
That's
I'm
I
not
can't even watch them.
yeah, and I'm not saying you sounded like a moron. I
No,
realized what
I
a
did.
moron I sounded like. You know what I mean? So
100% did. It's I can't hardly go back and watch those.
yeah.
It's you hear people say that, but until you start doing it, you realize how bad you really were when you first started.
Well, and it's really
But
funny because you can like have this really normal, natural conversation, and you put a camera in front of your face, and it's like someone has stuffed like a full banana in your mouth.
yes,
You can't talk. You don't know what to say. You can't think.
yes,
You look like a
Yeah.
fucking moron. And I'm just like,
yes,
okay, like just act like the camera's not there. Well, how do you act like the camera's not there when there's a
I
bright
know.
shining light, or you're holding the camera? You know.
Yes,
And
yeah,
so what I kind of what I decided to do is I kept on asking or acting like I was having a conversation with somebody who just wasn't answering me.
yeah, yeah. There you go.
That's kind of like talking to my daughter. I mean, it's just, it's hello, hi.
Yeah,
Right.
No, I'm your dad. Remember me?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm right here. I'm right here.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. That's
yeah.
funny.
Welcome to MotoState Podcast, where we talk about motorcycles, life, and everything in between.
Yeah, and, until you realize that you can edit all the stupid stuff out. So I mean, when I first started, I'd hold the camera up and I'd say, hey, my name's Jack. Welcome, and I'd mess up. Oh, God dang it! I'd turn the camera off. I'd delete that, turn it
Yeah.
back on. And once you realize you mess up, you just stop and start again, and you
Yeah,
just cut that stuff out in editing. I'm
Yeah.
glad I'm the one that gets to edit the videos because I can edit out all that stuff. I ought to really keep the bloopers because I say some stupid shit. I
Well,
promise you.
and after a while, what I started doing is I started leaving all of that stuff in too, because then it really is more natural and organic, right? Because
Yeah.
like if you followed the arc of like motorcycle YouTubing and you went way back and you kind of moved forward, there was this in between time where the videos were super polished, right? High
Yeah.
production value. Everybody was like buying the most expensive cameras they could and whatever. And then all of a sudden, you had guys like Professional Monkey, and he dropped in, and half the shit he was doing was with his phone. And
Oh yeah.
it's
Almost all
like
of it.
he had like 50,000 followers, and he was recording everything on his phone, and he was
Yep.
using the free Apple software, on his iPad to edit and post, right? And so it is, that's why I tell everybody, and we always talk about it, and Luke and I always talk about it too. Content is king. Like
It is.
you can have the most expensive stuff. You can polish it. You can only polish a turd. If it's a turd, it's always going to be a turd,
that's right.
Yep.
right?
Put lipstick on the
I've
pig,
been
right?
Right.
I kind of followed the Thresh and Supply one camera. I don't think a 360 camera or a drone is going to get me one single subscriber. So I use one camera. Now there's creative editing and all that stuff, but yeah, all that fancy stuff I just don't do it. One, I don't know how to do it,
Right.
so that helps.
Sure.
That makes it easier.
What I
You
tell
know.
anybody too is like do as much or as little as you want to do. Like, I want the process to be fun for myself, right?
Yes.
Because if it's too much of a pain in the ass, and it's like it starts to ruin motorcycle riding, or if it ruins,
Yeah.
if creating content is ruining the trip, then
Yeah.
you've totally lost the idea of why you went on a trip to begin with.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's
Yeah.
true.
And
Yeah.
so
Well, yeah.
it has to be organic, and and that was the one thing I was going to tell you is while your cadence and how you talk to the camera and whatever, I can definitely tell you're way more comfortable now. Your content still seems to feel like organic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is really cool, and that's probably why you're getting good growth. And the other thing too is I tell everybody, and I live by this now. Even don't make a single video that you wouldn't watch yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Sure.
make the content that you want to make and stand by that, because it'll come across as being honest. As soon as you start doing shit for the algorithm, or you start doing stuff for views, then you've lost yourself to the YouTube monster, and just quit, because
Yeah.
at that point you're not going to have fun. You're going to hate it. You're going to
Yeah.
whatever. So
And I
Yeah.
think everybody goes down that rabbit hole a little bit, with the clickbaity thumbnails and all that stuff. And I've done some of that. Clickbait's a bad word, but I mean, you have to make a thumbnail and a title that people want to click on, but you've got to deliver on the promise. But I had, for example, my buddy, if you just started watching, Ryan, you may not know, but I had a buddy in a motorcycle accident, and he's been back and forth with Goldwing and Harley Davidson, and he bought a new Goldwing. And so when I filmed the video, and my first intention was to black out the motorcycle and say, make it mysterious about what he got. But you also want the Goldwingers to click on that video. So instead of making it a secret, it's better just to say what it is, because people are searching for that content.
yep,
People like to see that certain content, and rather than, there are some big channels, and I'm not going to name any names, and there's a lot of good motorcycle content out there, but some of them get so clickbaity with everything, and you
Sure.
just realize you quit clicking on them because it's going to be BS.
right.
And so,
Well,
yeah,
at the end
I
of the day,
do.
it's marketing. I mean, you
Oh
can
yeah,
call it what you want. It's marketing,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you choose how you want to market yourself, right?
yeah,
And your content.
yeah,
And going back to what Ryan was saying about, if you're only taking the trip to get views, then maybe you shouldn't be taking the trip. But I remember the first time I was introduced to you was when you're on the Upshift podcast, and you said you made the comment, some to the extent of, there's trips I went on that I probably wouldn't have if it wasn't for this, but I'm thankful for that. Like, it's pushed me out the door more often. So I love that
Well, that was,
balance.
yeah, that was the motorcycle camping trip where it's 23 degrees outside.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
said, I told the two guys going with me, if I wasn't making a YouTube video, I'd be saying, guys, let's not do this. But 23-degree camping trip makes for some good drama on the YouTube, so we went.
Yeah.
But
And
y'all still
so,
had fun,
is that
right?
being
Like,
fake or fun? No, we had a great time, and it's one of the most memorable trips we've done. But we
right.
probably would have chickened out had it not been for this. That's the honest truth. And so, is that being fake, or I don't think
I
so.
don't
I
think
mean, we
so. No.
we we went, and it ended up being great, but we probably would have not gone had I not been doing this.
I think though that there's a little bit of beauty behind that, right? Because you kind of said, hey, we wouldn't have done it. You forced yourself out of your comfort zone, right, to do
Yes.
something that all of a sudden you look back on now and been like, yeah, man, we should have done it. We should have done it anyway, right? I was going to tell you, because Luke told me, we were talking about you a while back. Luke's been pressuring me to bring you on for a while now.
No, Luke is great. I appreciate that.
He told me a little bit about your story about that you've been riding for 5 years, right?
No, I've been riding for less than 3 years.
Oh, less than 3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So I gave you more credit. You should have just said yes. 5
Yeah,
years.
yeah, I know. Well, hey,
So
it is what it is.
So you said less than 3 years. So when I went back, and I wanted to make it a point to tell you this. So I went, like I said, I went all the way back, and I watched your one video where you talked about, if you'd have seen me a few months ago, I was duck walking my bike into my garage. You know what I mean? And so, like I paid attention, and I was like, I wanted to make sure that you heard this, because new riders don't hear this enough. Excuse me. There was a very significant difference between what the camera looked like in your early videos when you were pulling into your garage and what the camera looked like when you were driving down that gravel 2.5 miles of gravel road in Terralingua.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and so if you're wondering like where my skills are, I can tell you that you have improved.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I have. Yes, there's no
Because
question about that.
because when you were talking about that, and I was like, okay, so he was talking about duck walking his bike on his driveway in pea gravel, and now he's got his wife on a 2.5 mile gravel road with his brand new bike in Terralingua. I'm like,
Yes.
this is
Yeah.
either going to go so well or so awful,
Yes.
and both of them are going to be great YouTube content.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I'm telling you, I'm 6'2", 240 pounds now. I was 280 pounds not too long ago, but so I look ridiculous on anything other than sort of the big bagger. So the first bike I bought was a Road King that I still have sitting right over here. But when I got that bike, I have a 600-foot gravel driveway. And after I bought it, my brother had to pick it up for me. I'd never ridden a bike. So it sat here in the shop, and I'd look at it, and I'm looking at my driveway. So I waited a couple days, and I'm telling you, if I would have been videoing me getting out of this driveway that first time, it took me 20 minutes. I was, just walking it basically.
Yeah,
And to now think that if you'd have told me that I would have ridden to Sturgis the last 2 years on a 1,000-pound motorcycle, 2 years ago, I would have thought you just out of your mind. And I've said that before on some other shows, but yeah, it is. It's a good example of if you think you can't do something, just you never know until you
have
try. And I
have
wish I'd have done this a long time ago. I wanted to, and I just made excuses.
have you ever taken a motorcycle safety course or like a motorcycle riding course or anything like that?
You have to in Texas to get your license. So I mean, just the basic class, but I had other than
Right,
that. I mean, I've watched a lot of Robert Simmons and
right,
and and
yep,
uh, and Jerry Palladino or
yep.
whatever, but that's my extent of my training.
Sure,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah,
mean, because they take new riders with the on a that have never done it before on a bike, and
yeah,
they make you straddle the bike and duck walk it, just
yeah,
to like get the feel
yeah,
and the weight and all those kind of things.
yeah,
I grew up as a passenger on the back of a bike, and so I knew about safety checks and walk around and check your pegs and check your all of that before I ever was a rider on a bike. Because that was part of my job as the passenger was to, I had to make sure my shit was tight.
yeah.
That was what I was taught, right? So if I went over and my peg was loose or something was screwed up, and my mom's husband at the time, he tested me. He loosened shit up on his bike,
Oh yeah,
or it was just an old '80s Harley where shit just got loose.
yeah,
One of the two. But yeah, so I get it. I mean, and everybody has their own journey, and I really. I admire the fact that that you're going into this saying, hey, like I haven't done it, and like you said, 2.5 years riding, and you've ridden Needles Canyon, right, or Needles Highway
yeah.
in Sturgis. So I
Needles
mean,
Highway with my wife on the back falling asleep.
yeah. So I mean that's a I mean that's
Yeah,
a serious leap in skill level
yeah.
because there are some areas on Needles that are they're fuck around and find out for sure.
Yes.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you saying that because I think there are some lifelong bikers that take offense to people like me and, new riders that just come along and do this. You get that sense sometimes. So I appreciate you saying that because, yeah, this has been, I wish I'd have done this a long time ago. I'm having the time of my life doing this and it's just been fun. And once you figure it out, it's not that hard, you know.
Right.
And
Well,
I'm not a
Well,
speed demon. I'm 51 years old. I'm not looking to try to be the baddest biker around. I'm not trying to go the fastest. I mean, I think I do pretty good keeping up with some of my buddies that really like to ride fast, all that. But I'm not trying to be anything other than I am, and I am honest about it. I think that's one of the best compliments I always get. Is just I'm pretty straightforward about, hey man, I'm not good at this. I don't know how to do this. You said the first video you watched was the install video. I'm terrible at those install videos. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But uh, but the ride videos with my buddies, we call ourselves the Rusty Bolts. People relate so much to that. I can't tell you how many messages I get, how many. I mean, you can see the comments on the videos, but just the emails and the direct messages I get of that, man, you're inspiring me. Thank you for this or whatever. I used to have friends like that. I think a lot of people, when they get to be my age, they just lose sort of their friends. We're from a very small town. A lot of us never really left. I've traveled the world for work, but I've always lived here, and so I have this tight knit group of people, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. And I just kind of film what we do. Now I can edit it in sort of a way that tries to make it as entertaining as I can, but I'm just filming what we do, and I'm just doing normal stuff with normal folk, you know. So
Yeah, I mean,
that was kind of rambling,
that's
but
no. I mean, I think going back to just only riding for a relatively short amount of time in the grand scheme of things. I mean, that's what hit home for me back in January when I heard you on that podcast. Was I mean, I'm 6 years in myself, so I didn't start
yeah,
riding until I was 40, and so some of the things going back and watching some of your first videos and like. I'm going to try this seat or I'm going to do this. And it's like, yeah,
yeah,
man, it felt like yesterday that I was doing the same thing. Oh man,
yeah.
I wish I'd, bought that windshield after I bought the seat or what,
No,
like little things
yes.
like that. Right. Like,
Yes, there's a
and
lot of that. Seat,
yeah,
handlebars, windshield,
yeah.
highway pegs. Who knew highway pegs was the hardest thing to get in the right place?
Oh, it's
No.
awful. It's terrible, man. Are you kidding me? So yeah, that
Yeah.
stuff really hit me home. And I think you say you call yourself, you said straightforward and hey, I'm not good at this. Well, that's also being vulnerable. And I greatly
Yeah.
appreciate and respect that because there's a
Well, I
lot of people
appreciate it.
that wouldn't do
Yeah.
that. Oh, and brush it off. But no, I mean,
I think
hey,
a lot of people, I think a lot what I see guys do, they're playing a role of YouTube motorcycle star. You know,
sure.
it's whatever they think that is, and people don't relate to that. So
No,
yeah,
they don't.
we're
They
just normal country people.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is coming from somebody who I've been on motorcycles since the mid '80s, and um, I I don't have time for that dick measuring, right? Like I
Yes.
would much rather hang out with people who are honest about their skill level and honest about who they are than hang out with a bunch of people that like I said, that are just dick measuring all the time.
Yep.
And I've told a ton of people, you go to a Harley Davidson dealership and you buy a stock Harley Davidson right off the line, and you bring it out to wherever you want to go, whatever road you want to find, and 80% of the riders in the country can't outride what a Harley can do stock. 80%
Right.
of the riders can't outride the motorcycle the way it is when it comes off the showroom floor, right?
Yep.
And everything else that we do to the bike after that is all dick measuring. And
Yep.
I'm just as guilty, right? I mean, I put a cam in my bike, and I put a 2-in-1 exhaust system, and I put high performance shocks on it, and the whole thing, right? I
Yep.
also did a ton of it for aesthetic, right? I put the pipe on my bike because I like the way that it looks. I put the cam in because I wanted it to sound like a loping Harley Davidson from the '80s and not a sewing machine like the M8 sounds like. You
Yep.
know, so in all of it is and all of it is like what I say to it is that it's that one area where what I love about it is that I love to see someone's motorcycle and then see if I can find the person that belongs to it,
Yeah.
because I love to see if their bike represents who they are,
Yep.
because that's what I hope for everybody. Like some people do some shit to their bikes that I think is fucking ugly, and I love it when they own it. When they just are
Yep.
like, yeah, man, like this is who I am. Like,
Yeah.
see this long ass, it's like I always say that it's like the get back whips, right? You guys probably see them everywhere in Texas, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Big,
Used
big,
to. Yeah.
big wheels and get back whips, right?
Yeah. There you go.
I think they're fucking silly as hell.
Yeah.
But the people that rock those, if you own that, and that's who you are, man, good for you, right? It's just-
Absolutely.
because it's like I came from I came from old school Harley riding where all the guys that we used to ride with when I lived in Southern California, all the old school bikers, they always had a pocket full of marbles in their pocket. Ask me what a pocket full of marbles is for when you're riding on the interstate in California. What do you think that's for?
That's the same thing.
Windshield.
As a back whip.
Yeah,
Tailgaters.
exactly. Same thing as a get back whip. The difference is a marble leaves no evidence. When it
Yeah.
breaks that front windshield of the car and behind you that's tailgating you, it
Yeah.
shatters into a million pieces.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's exactly the same thing. Exactly,
Yeah.
right? It's just a different time. All those old dudes always had a pocket full of marbles. What the hell are those
Yep.
marbles in your pocket? No one's playing
Yeah.
marbles.
I know a couple young dudes that got them too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just put a couple of them in your pocket, and then
Yeah.
somebody starts tailgating you, and you just toss those babies right up over your shoulder, and that
Yeah.
shit
Yeah.
ends right there. No more
Yep.
tailgating.
Yeah. No, you're right. 90% of, well, probably 100% of the stuff I've done to my bike is aesthetics. The only reason I would do a two into one or a cam is for the same reason you said, is just because I like the two into one look and I like the sound. But my 2025 Harley Davidson Road Glide will do more than I needed to do for me. I'm not looking for more horsepower or anything like that.
And you have the 117 with the VVT, right?
It's not. I don't think the regular Road Glides are VVT, are they?
No, they're not
I
VVT.
don't.
They're
I
just
don't.
Aren't they?
there's the
The
117,
just
Okay.
yeah, just the 117. The I think the
high output.
CVO or CVOST maybe VVT. I'm not sure, but no, it's just the high
Yeah,
output 117.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what was the catalyst to start recording this on YouTube? What drove you to do that, and what would you have done differently if you had to do it all over again?
Honestly, when I first started, I watched a lot of YouTube. I quit watching just regular TV a few years ago. I just can't all the politics and all the stuff. I've just I used to listen and watch all that stuff, and I've just gotten to a point in my life where I just try to tune all that stuff out. So I was watching a lot of YouTube and just regular people. And then when I started riding motorcycles and riding with my brother, I have an identical twin brother who writes a lot of music on my channel. Music's a big part of our lives and my channel. And he's my identical twin, and we're 50 years old, and and our kids are in college or grown in their early 20s, and thought, it'd be kind of cool to record some of this stuff. One of the reasons I decided to buy a motorcycle was that I'd had people my age that had strokes, heart attacks, end up in nursing homes. And it sounds corny as hell, but I was like, one day I woke up, I said, I'm just as likely to die of a heart attack in this recliner. I'm going to be safe. I'm going to do this. And maybe my kids someday will want to watch it, or my family. It'll just be so. If you record a 3-minute video, you can't hardly share with anybody without some link to something. And YouTube was the logical answer. So, I mean, you go back and watch that first video, there's not even sound in it. I didn't even know how to get the audio. Obviously, y'all have seen my technical abilities tonight trying to get connected to this podcast. So it was really just to record memories. But really, after the first three or four, I got a little attention. People kind of started watching, and then it just kind of became, man, it's really fun to take this raw footage. I guess it's the creative part of me. I never considered myself too creative, but take this raw footage and turn it into a cool 15 or 20-minute video to document these cool things that we're doing. So, but I originally started just as a way to record some of this for my kids and grandkids kind of thing one day.
Sure.
Legacy. I get it.
Legacy, yeah.
I've said the very same thing on numerous occasions about kind of why I started, and I mean I've done a variety of things too on mine too, but one of the things I'd like to know is explain your name to everybody. What's Bogey Biker? Explain that.
Yeah, so I grew up as a golfer, and if you're a bogey golfer, you're not very good. So I was in the motorcycle safety class getting my license, and we were, and during one of the breaks, we were sitting around just bullshitting about stuff, and we were talking about golf, and we were just talking, and we finished, and I'm walking back over to my bike, and the guy comes up to me and goes, "Well, sounds like you're a pretty good golfer." I said, "No, man, I'm just an average golfer." He said, "Well, are you at least a bogey golfer?" I said, "Yeah, I'm better than a bogey golfer." I said, "I'm just trying to be a bogey biker." And I thought, ding, 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 like that'd be a pretty good name for I was watching the $1 Million Bogan. That was kind of I was anyway. It just felt like my work history has been with sales and marketing, that kind of stuff. So that was just a name that clicked with me. And originally, I thought we could. I'm a golfer and I'm a biker now, so we built a rack that fits into the to where the removable tour pack goes. Put our golf clubs on there. So in one of the first videos, we ride to this fancy golf course and pull up to the private gate, and the lady looks out. She goes, "Are you serious?" I go, "Yep, we got a tea time 8:30." And so originally I was going to try to kind of combine this golf and motorcycles, but what you realize is that you kind of really can't you kind of need to pick a genre on YouTube if you want people to watch. Any of the golf stuff I've done, you don't really get much traction on that. So I still want to make the videos I want to make, but you also, if I'm going to spend all this time doing it, I kind of want to be successful at it. I'm a competitive person by nature, which most people are. People love to say they're competitive, but well, everybody's competitive. But so I kind of just got away from the golf part, and but I kept the name, and yeah, it's my brother's got a cool song. It's kind of become a thing,
Yeah.
at least with the people that watch. So yeah,
I follow your brother on TikTok, and
yeah.
yeah, man, he puts out some great songs. His covers of, I mean, he did a
Oh
John
man, he's
Prine song
amazing.
the other day, and I think maybe Chris Christopherson, and man, I loved it. He sounds
It's
great.
amazing because we're identical twins and we're good at the same things. Like we're always, and we're growing up, it was just a battle. But like if you want to play ping pong, don't play me and my brother ping pong. I'm not saying I shouldn't say it because there's millions of people out there, but compared to most people we know that we pitch washers around here, we play cornhole, all that stuff. We're just good at that stuff. But the fact that he's a fireman and he's had a lot at the firehouse, they have a lot of free time. Now, when they have to go do what they have to do, they do things that I couldn't do. But anyway, he just started teaching himself how to play the guitar. And so, yeah, he's a finger picker, kind of storytelling, folk song kind of stuff. And it's just amazing. It's like magic watching him do that. So it's been really fun to see my fans' reaction to him and his music. You don't really realize that a lot of people, music's a big part of a lot of folks' lives, and it certainly is
Yeah,
with us. And I've kind of incorporated that really more than golf into my channel is the music aspect of it. And my brother has been a huge part of that.
yeah, that's fun. He's really good. I think
Yeah.
he's really talented. Well, I hope back in March, I was coming through Texas and we were going to try to grab lunch, and
Yeah.
my dad fell ill and I had to bail on that trip early, and then we were supposed to meet in Knoxville,
Yes.
and because I was going to be back home, and then that's when your friend had the wreck. So I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie, I was a little nervous getting on today. I was like, all right, is the shit gonna hit the fan again today? Because
Yeah.
we had something scheduled, but no,
Yeah.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful that we finally got to meet up, even though virtual, and I hope to get back down to Texas and redo that trip, and hopefully can see your brother play some music as well.
Yeah, man. You're welcome anytime. How is your dad, by the way?
He's good, man. He's doing really
Yeah.
good. Yeah, mom and
Good.
dad both are. They're too stubborn to give up, so
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
they're doing good. But I appreciate you
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah. Yeah. That trip out east, that was another thing that, you see your buddy in a high speed motorcycle crash that he shouldn't have lived through, and it was bad. I'm just telling you, it was 75 mile an hour interstate, 20 feet in the air off the bike, and bad.
Yeah,
And I probably wouldn't admitted that it affected me a little more than I thought it did at the time. Just riding, I know the trip to Sturgis, riding through the mountains when it's raining and hailing, and just being, it probably maybe saved my life in the future. Just being a little more cautious. I wasn't getting reckless, but you get comfortable just like you get in your car. You look at your phone sometime. You're eating a cheeseburger, you get distracted by things, and I really, every time I get on that bike, I relax. I have fun doing it, but I say to myself, okay, we got to focus here. Let's
yeah,
focus and don't get. I took the phone off of my handlebars. I mean, I have a new bike with the big screen, so I don't need the phone up there. That's what distracted him, and it was distracting me. You look down at that thing, and anyway, it was a horrific thing, but it turned out the best way possible, and he's back riding now today. 69-year-old dude that was in a wreck like that, man.
well, there's a tough, stubborn old guy right there,
Boy,
right?
you ain't
Like,
kidding.
man,
You ain't kidding.
that's impressive. Like, I
Yeah,
watched the video when you interviewed him when y'all talked about
yeah,
the wreck, and
yeah.
man, I was pleasantly surprised, shocked a little bit, like how great a shape he was. I mean, he seemed great. I mean,
I mean, he
those
shattered his left elbow, left arm. He had 12 shattered ribs, not just broken in one spot, but like broken in multiple, all 12 ribs broken in multiple spots, punctured lung, bleeding spleen, like drop foot, all this stuff. And that was I guess I'd seen him the week before that, but I just saw him. Warren, I can't believe you look like this is not what I expected you to look like. I mean,
sure,
it's just
sure,
amazing. So yeah,
yeah, good for him, man. That's
yeah,
great.
inspiring guy.
Yeah, the mortality for a motorcycle accident above 75 miles an hour is high, right?
Yes.
Most times you're
Yes.
not going to survive an accident above 75.
Yeah.
That's I mean
Yes.
that's the reality of it, right? And so
Yep.
I mean, you see the number of people that get really badly injured only going 30 miles an hour. I mean, that happened to a
Yeah.
buddy of mine. He was going 35 miles an hour, and he had somebody pull out in front of him, and he had the same number of injuries you're talking about going 35.
Oh yeah.
But he T-boned a car. I mean, he went
Mm.
straight into it going 35 because somebody took a left-hand turn in front of him and she didn't look.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
he didn't even get have a chance to brake, and he had a Dyna wide glide, the wide glide that you see that has the flames on the tank, the black bike
Yeah.
with the orange flames on the tank, the one that
Yeah.
Harley did back in the day.
Yeah.
And that whole front of his bike, excuse me, was completely, his front tire was underneath the essentially underneath the front of his bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those sudden
Wow.
stops, man, they're not good for you.
No.
When you have to stop like that,
No.
whether it's hitting a car or whatever it is, that ain't good.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know for me, I was in a really bad motorcycle accident when I was 10, and if I wouldn't have been wearing a helmet, I wouldn't have survived. Actually, I was probably 9, and this was in the 80s, and I pulled the chin strap on my helmet and it fell off my head in 2 pieces.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Crazy.
and I wasn't injured, but my helmet, my helmet was completely destroyed, and my clothes were shredded. I remembered I came off the back of the bike and slammed into the ground with my head, and I rolled over into dead man's position. And I remember
Mm.
opening up my eyes and seeing yellow line, yellow line, yellow line, yellow line, yellow line. And I thought, I'm just going to close my eyes till I stop moving. And when I stopped and opened up my eyes, my face shield had ground down, so my nose was just barely almost touching the
Mm.
freeway. Or it wasn't, I guess it was highway, not freeway. Um, but yeah, the sun was setting behind us in Southern California, and the guy that pulled out couldn't see us because the sun was right behind us. And so my
Wow.
mom's husband laid the bike down, and we hit the front end of his car, and the bike spun. And when it spun, it threw me off the back.
That's
Wow.
scary.
So
Mm.
yeah, it's I mean, and it's funny because I rode when I was a kid, and then it was years and years and years later before I started riding again, and I started riding before I had that kind of same epiphany that you were having, or that you had when you were talking about, I could just as easily have a stroke in my chair than die on a motorcycle, right? And
Yeah.
what's really funny is how quickly, and maybe it's not like this for all people, but it was like it for me, how quickly I went from, you know, uh, getting back into it to being a motorcyclist is how I identify who I am. You know what I mean? Like it was so quickly that kind of jumped back on top of me and kind of took over that, having a chance other than spending time with my wife and kids. There isn't anything I would rather do than ride my motorcycle.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sure is fun.
It is.
Jack,
Yes, it is.
so what do you got planned for the rest I mean, you pretty much can ride year round where you're at, but
Yeah.
what do you got planned over the next 2-3 months? I think you got an event coming up here soon, but what else you got planned besides that?
Yeah, I'm wearing the official shirt. Twisted in Texas
Yeah.
is the event we started last year. Kelly B. Gliding and I started, and we started it about a month. We just kind of on a whim said, let's go ride the Twisted Sisters and invite, our viewers. And we had about 100, a little over 100 bikes show up that first year with a month's notice, which I know there's some motorcycle events around the country that don't get 100 bikes have been going on a long time. We're making it an annual event, the Three Twisted Sisters down in the Texas Hill Country, October 24th through the 26th. And I think we're going to have 300 bikes there. It's
Damn.
just kind of a long weekend, kind of a ride with friends. My brother Jay is going to perform live Saturday night. So we're going to have a meet and greet at Javelina Harley Davidson there in Bernie, Texas, not far. And then we're going to have some prizes to give away from some of the vendors that we have relationships with, and have some merch for sale, and we're just gonna hang out with the folks that have been so supportive of him and I, and yeah, just Just it would be just a fun long weekend with friends, a
Yeah.
ride with friends, what we call it. So
Yeah, that's beautiful down there. I, mean, I touched part of it back in March, and man, I loved it. It was I want to ride some more back down through the hill country and do
yeah,
the Twisted Sisters and all that. And
yeah,
it's pretty down there.
yeah. So and then outside of that, we don't really have any big plans other than just we ride pretty much every weekend, at least once.
Sure.
So I'm doing the Grand Tour of Texas, which there's 50 spots around the state that
Hmm.
unique or interesting locations, destinations that we do. So we'll do some of those rides, and yeah, that's
That'll be fun.
when you do Sturgis and Twisted in Texas, it's I do have a real job, and so it's hard to. I am going to go. I think I'm going to go to Daytona next year.
Are you okay?
Yeah, Brian from the Upshift podcast invited me, so I think I'm going to fly in. He's going to have a bike for me and just kind of spend a long weekend. I can't, if I do Sturgis, I can't really do a week of that, but
Sure.
I can do a few days. So
Yeah. Well, if you come February, if you want to make a fun trip, Ryan and I'll be up at Mama Tried in Milwaukee for that bike
I love
show.
it. Yeah,
That both of us really like that show, one of our favorites, and it's kind of a good way for us to kind of kick off the season, so to say. I mean, I'm
yeah,
not riding in February in St. Louis, and Ryan
yeah,
isn't riding up in North Dakota yet, but it gets us excited, and because we know we're getting
yeah,
close to riding season, and that's can't recommend it
yeah.
enough.
I'm
In
barely
in
surviving then.
yeah, isn't Danger Dan a big is he big highly involved in that?
He
He
I
usually
met
is, yeah.
him. I met him soon after I started riding and didn't know who he was. I didn't know who he was. Like
Oh, really?
somebody told him I had a YouTube channel, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and they said, "Well, Dan's got a podcast." I go, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah," and that's all he said. Well, I got home and I Googled him. I'm like, "You got to be kidding me!" I can't believe I met this guy. I mean, this is a big deal. And anyway, so he was a nice guy, but yeah, I know he's highly involved in Mama Tried. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
he's hosted a few. He does a few races, and a couple of years ago, he had like this bright, shiny silk suit made for when they do
Yeah,
the
The Flat Out
the
Friday.
Flat Out Friday hooligan races. And if you've ever
yeah,
been, I'm not a big race fan in general, but those hooligan races are really a lot of fun. I mean,
yeah,
it's all indoor, right, in Milwaukee in February, so you can't really be outside anyway. Um, and they take the cement floor and they spray it with Dr. Pepper, so it makes it
hmm,
sticky, so their tires can stick to it. And then they just tear ass around this track, and it's really a lot of fun. I mean, then they do boonie bike races, and they do they do all kinds of things. So yeah, that was my official baptism into social media. Was
hmm.
2.5 years ago on Instagram. I recorded a video at Mama Tried. I threw out some music on it, and I posted it to Instagram. And 3 days later, my phone was so hot I had to turn it off. I had 18.5 million views on one video that I posted on Instagram, and
Oh my God.
I got 15,000 followers from it on Instagram,
That's
and
wild.
everything changed.
Oh
That's
my
crazy.
gosh.
Yeah, so and I mean it was like the video right after it got like 3 million follows, one before it got like, 500,000, and it was right before Reels was like super popular, before everybody
Hmm.
was doing a reel on Instagram. It was right when Instagram Reels were taking off, and this thing went absolutely bonkers. It was so stupid. Meta shut down my account because I was getting so many followers from it, and they were sending it to so many places. I was like, hey, I like sent them a message, and I was like, I know somewhere I have like 20,000 followers that just, why aren't you updating my account? And they're like, we can't keep up with it. And so like
I
after
had no idea. Damn, why the hell are you interviewing me? I didn't know I was with royalty here.
no, it's just yeah, yeah, I've been doing the podcast thing for a hot minute. So a couple of years ago, I was on a podcast that kind of that bent the world for a hot minute too, and it was a lot of fun. And it actually, so for me, like I have this completely different take on social media because social media is what's connected me to people like you and to Luke and I and to a lot of my really good friends.
Yeah.
And so I really love to use Instagram and YouTube and all of these places as just a tool because I've made some of my best friends in my life in the motorcycle world. I've made through social media and through YouTube and through those connections. And I love to go back and like watch when I first commented on somebody's video and then all of a sudden fast forward 7 years and we're really good friends and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And so and not really good friends like like I've ridden with you, we've ridden hundreds of
Yeah.
hundreds of miles and thousands of miles across
Yeah.
the country together and that kind of stuff. And so yeah, one of my very best friends, my whole riding group actually that I ride with where I live all came from Instagram or not Instagram from
Yeah.
YouTube and connecting with people on YouTube. And so yeah, I really dig it. And so that's why like I said, I really wanted to I really wanted to make sure that I commented on your like how organic your stuff feels, how it feels real and raw, and I do enjoy that. The hyper polished videos, I got sick of them real quick,
Yeah. Me too.
and moved and kind of moved away from them, and just because I like the videos when people like don't say the right thing and when they screw up and when their fucking
Yeah.
camera tips over and they don't edit it out,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
because it makes it just reminds us all that we all started from somewhere. We all are kind of on this journey together. We're all human, like no one's perfect. That's why I don't like that whole biker big dick mentality, right? Just like we're all here, like we're not here for a long time, we're here for a good time,
Yep.
and let's try to like make the best of it. And it's like you said, the whole, like you said, I stopped watching TV. I haven't made it quite that far yet, but I understand what you mean when you say that because we've gotten to this point where the world is so divisive, and it's like if we don't fall on the same political spectrum, we can't be friends. And
Hmm.
and I look at it just the opposite. Somebody who disagrees with me is the person I should be friends with, because I should be using that person to grow and learn and to gain perspective from that.
Yep.
And that's why, and I also love the fact that you're not 22 years old, and nothing against
Yeah.
22-year-olds, but I think that we gain a lot of perspective as we get older, right?
Yeah.
And I think that when we're 22, we're arrogant, especially men. We're arrogant assholes, right? And then when we're 52, we've been humbled a little bit by life, right? We've slowed
Hmm.
down a little bit.
Yes, we have.
We're not as physically fit as we used to be. We're not as we can't go till 4 o'clock in the morning 5 days a week. I mean,
Yes.
one day a week I can do it, and then it just takes me the other
I
four
get
to
up at
recover.
4 in
Yeah.
the morning and go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
about
exactly.
it. That's really
My
about it.
my favorite line is that I've become the person I used to make fun of.
Right, right.
You can't you go to bed early all this. Let me turn this light on. Sorry, I'm losing. I wasn't
No,
prepared for
that's all
this,
right.
but it's not going to be the best lighting, but
That's all right.
I'll be better prepared next time, guys.
No, you're good.
No, you're
Yeah.
good.
Shoot.
And now it looks like, now at least it looks like you're not podcasting from a closet.
Yeah, I know. Well, when I started, it was light in here, and just anyway.
Time of
But
year, yeah. So, hey, Jack. So, what's been the reaction like from your wife and your kids, other family members, friends of starting this? Obviously riding and then starting the YouTube, and then obviously taking off. The YouTube's really taken off for you. I mean, you
Yeah,
were at a content creator thing at Sturgis, got invited to
yeah.
that. So, what's been the reaction and feedback from them?
Man, my kids have just been so super supportive. I'm a lucky guy. I both my son is a golf professional. He graduated a couple years ago. My daughter's a senior in college, and they're just proud of me, and they're just super supportive. And my wife the same. My wife is kind of a shy, reserved person. So initially, being on camera, she's not looking for attention. She gets a lot of attention everywhere she goes because she's beautiful, but she's not looking for attention. And well, the great thing about Sturgis was, I had this meet and greet. People were messaging me, "Are you gonna have a meet and greet?" I'm like, Nobody's going to show up to that. No, I'm not going to have but they taught me into it. And so that morning I woke up and she's very supportive and we get there and there's, I don't know, 40 or 50 people there, which for me is, and so the great thing was to see these dudes lined up to meet my wife and take a picture with her. And she just, and I promise you 2 years ago, if you'd have asked me, she would have said, no, I'm not doing that. But she embraced it and she had the time of her life. She wants to go back to Sturgis next year, so
That's
she's been
awesome.
great. Yeah, my dad watches every episode. I know my mom watches most of them. I think again, one thing I did learn was you can't expect your friends if you get upset with friends and family that aren't interested in watching everything you do on YouTube about motorcycles, you're going to be disappointed because that's not their deal.
Right.
So you're not going to build your YouTube channel off your family and friends being supportive. You're not going to build your YouTube channel off talking them into subscribing to your YouTube channel so you can build your subscriptions. You're going to build your YouTube channel by making good videos that people want to watch.
Yep.
Period. The end. And so when you first start, you want all your friends to watch, but that's just not the way. Yeah, I got a lot of friends that do, a lot of friends that ride with me, but that's not where it's at. All the people that I call friends are supportive. Some of them watch, some of them don't, and that's okay, you know.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
but I'm a lucky. My parents live 5 miles from me. My sister lives 5 miles from me. My brother lives 10 miles from me. Um, so yeah, we're a very close family. Not a motorcycle family. My mom and my daughter were not happy when I started doing this. It's in the song that my brother wrote actually, but they're supportive, and just want me to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, I've told story there, that when I decided to get my endorsement and start riding, I'm an only child. My parents have supported me every decision I made. Probably
Yeah,
a lot of those decisions they shouldn't have supported me, but they did.
yeah,
And this is the one thing they're like, "Oh hell no, nuh-uh.
yeah,
No, no, no,
yeah,
no." I'm like, "Well, I'm 40. You can't tell
yeah,
me no. I'm sorry."
yeah, yeah,
And this coming from my dad who used to race motocross, and he's
yeah,
like, "Nope, that's bullshit. Don't do it." I'm like, "I'm
yeah.
sorry, love you, mean it, but I'm gonna do it
Well,
anyway." So
well, I've been, again, I've lusted after these motorcycles for forever. My son remembers we watched every episode of Biker Build Off in the early 2000s, all of American Chopper, all that stuff. So they've
sure.
known that I've loved motorcycles, but my daughter, who is great, but she been saying for years, Dad, you're not going to get a motorcycle. No, honey, I'm not gonna, don't worry, I'm not going to get a motorcycle. Then my brother gets a motorcycle about 3 years ago. Dad, you're not going to get a motorcycle. No, sweetheart, I'm not going to get. Well, she called me a liar. She called, well, you're just a liar. You just, well, I know things change, sweetheart. So
At the
she's
time, that
kind
was
of
an
joking,
accurate
but yeah,
statement,
it
but
was, yeah, it was the truth of the time, but things changed. And then that's life. Things change. So
yeah, for sure.
you know,
Well,
Yeah.
it's impressive. I think that. So you're on your third bike now. You've been riding for about 3 years.
yeah, yeah. Still have my
Nice.
first one. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So what big plans for that Road King? Your big boy Dyna, as you like to call it. Like,
big dude down it.
yeah,
Yeah.
big boy Dyna.
I go back and forth. Sometimes I think I've gone back. I've put it up for sale. I mean, it's my first bike, and I'm telling you, Road King, it rides so good. It's just such a good bike. But I got uh, one daughter still in college. Part of me thinks I ought to sell it because I just don't ride it. I'm pretty much riding my Road Glide all the time now. If I lose a little more weight, maybe I can fit on a smaller bike and have a little run around bike. I don't know, but that's kind of what I was using the Road King for because it still
Sure.
is significantly lighter than my. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to sell it. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I don't know. I keep
That's
spending money on this Road Glide. I'm gonna have to sell a bunch of shit. So damn.
So keep writing a check to Advan Black, right?
Oh my gosh, man, it adds up. Ed Van Black and Thresh and Supply.
And
I should own
thrashing, yeah.
stock in them. Yeah,
Well, I
Well,
know.
you got two kidneys,
but
so
it's
just
fun.
sell one of those. That'll
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
well,
you
I thought
go.
about that. Thought about that too. Yeah, I thought about that too.
That's one way to lose weight too, but that's a whole other story. But
Yeah, that's right.
well, Ryan. He
Yeah,
has a Road King. That's his bike of choice
yeah.
right now. Yeah,
It doesn't look like a Road King, but I have one. Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
What makes it not look like a Road King? Did you put a fairing on it, or did you?
Every single part that I've put on it makes it not look like a Road King anymore.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
I've replaced pretty much every part on it except for the tank with Advan Black stuff.
Yeah.
So I have the ST fairing on it. I put
Oh, I wanted to do that.
Yeah, I put T-bars on mine. I did the whole shot series that they released this year, so I have the FXR
Yeah.
style side cover with the shorter bags, 2-into-1 exhaust. It was a Road King special with the large
Oh,
nacelle
yeah.
and the stretch bags and everything. So I put shorter
Yeah.
bags. I put a performance kit or a performance suspension on it. So yeah, I've done everything I can to make it not look like a Road King. I debadged it and put different badges on it. Yeah, I mean you name it, and I ride the wheels off it. And so I have the 2017, right, and I did
Yeah.
have that M8 sumping issue, so I was getting a
Yeah.
little bit of blow by, and so I replaced my whole cam chest. So I really did do that, honestly, because I wanted to solve the blow by issue. And the S&S oil pump, if you take out the Harley oil pump and you put the S&S one in, as soon as you put it in and you roll your back tire and you watch that oil pump just puke oil out all over the inside,
Yeah.
you realize how shitty the stock oil pump is compared to an aftermarket one.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I put the whole S&S cam chest in there. So it's like this really like beautiful jewelry that you have on the inside of your motor that no one ever gets to see, because then you
Yeah.
put that
Yeah.
cam cover on it and it's you'll never see it again. But
Yeah.
no, when I did that, when I put that cam in there, I put the 475. It's the horsepower cam for S&S, and it changed the sound, and it rides like a rape ape. I really like it a lot. Like I told my friend the other day, we were I don't remember where we were going, but I said I've never really redlined it all the way through the gears just to see what it'll do, and I've never had it dynoed because again, that's a dick measuring contest. For me, it's about what it feels like when it's in the seat. And
Yeah.
just yesterday, no, not yesterday, Saturday, we were coming back from a trip, and I banged through the gears. I was going 90 in fourth gear, and I was only at 2,800 RPM.
Oh, wow.
And it doesn't
That's sweet.
redline until 5,000 RPM, right? Or
Yeah. Wow.
5,500. So 90 in fourth gear, I had a whole bunch of throttle left that I
Oh,
could have,
wow.
and so I was feeling pretty solid about that. So
Yeah. I bet.
the only thing I
Do
don't
you,
like about it is like the horsepower cam. It does not like to go slow, so my bike kind of hates first gear a lot. So
okay.
like I'm not trying to do any slow races because I will not win
Yeah.
because it just
Yeah.
doesn't like that. It's not going to choke out, but it feels like it's going to choke out on you.
Yeah.
It really likes 70 a lot more than it likes 15.
Do you get the dudes that can't stand that you didn't keep a Road King looking like a Road King? I was kind of doing some of that same stuff. If I'm going to keep the Road King, I'm going to put the T bars on it and the fairing. I was talking about all that, and there's some people that just can't stand that. No, that's a Road King. You got to keep it a Road King, and
Oh,
or
I just
whatever.
say I just say thank you for watching my video. That's all
Yeah.
I say.
See that?
You know,
See, that's better than
yeah,
that's
thank
better
you.
than me. That's what I tell people I say, but I don't. I,
Yeah,
I usually rip them.
yeah, no, I just say thank you. Thank you for watching my video. It helps my algorithm. I really appreciate it. That pisses them
Yeah.
off more because they say shit because they want to have an argument, right? And
I know. I know.
and and you're like me, right? Like I'm 6'3", 240 pounds. They're not
Yeah.
gonna walk up to me on the street and say that shit to my
No.
face, right? So they're
No.
just keyboard warriors, and I don't give that shit. I don't pay any attention to that. Sometimes I even
Yeah.
just laugh, like I just send them a
Yeah.
smiling emoji, or like a thumbs up, like thank you, like
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care. My bike's for me. Like I don't,
Yeah.
like if Luke and I rode together and Luke pulled up next to me, like wow, that looks stupid as hell. I'd be like, thank you, Luke.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Actually, he
just,
would flip me the bird first.
I would do
guarantee
Yeah.
you.
that.
Yeah.
I would do that to Luke.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, fuck you. And no,
Yeah.
that's to me, like, that's the beauty of motorcycling. Like, that's when I said, like, before, like, own it. I really don't give a shit if somebody else doesn't like it. I'm not doing it for anybody
No.
else. Like, I can tell you, so I live in North Dakota, right? I'm not even sure.
Yeah.
You're from Texas. You probably don't even know where North Dakota's at.
It's the only state in the union I haven't been to.
Yeah, there's a
And
reason. There's a reason for that, right?
no, I should have gone this year at Sturgis, but we were close. But yeah, North Dakota is the only state I hadn't been to.
Yeah. So I live, and
So
I
now I got a reason to come up.
there you go.
There you go.
And to top it all off, I live on the northern half of North
So you're a
Dakota.
Canadian, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I'm Canadian. Yep, yep.
He can
I'm
Yeah,
smell the
yeah,
maple
I
syrup
can
from
smell
where
the
he
maple
is.
syrup.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm 100 miles
yeah.
from a Canadian border. Is where I'm at,
Okay.
and so for me, my bike looks like no one's bike in this area. We still have big
Yeah,
wheel baggers here. There's still get back whips here. There's all, you know what I mean.
yeah,
Everybody that thinks they're cool is still riding a black street glide. I mean,
yeah,
like I'm like, you guys have the Me Too bike of the motorcycle, and then I
yeah,
I pull up on my bike and they're like, what is that? Like no one even knows, right?
yeah, yeah.
They just don't. They have no
That's
idea what it
great.
is.
I think it's
Oh
great.
yeah, I do
Yeah.
too. And I'm like, if you don't know that, then you're not paying attention enough, right?
Yeah.
Because and that's and I didn't do that intentionally. I made the bike that I saw in my head, and that's what I wanted to do. And I have things on it that are a mix of everything. And it was funny because it really it made me laugh because I watched your video when you were talking about your big ass cup holder,
Yeah.
and it was like I got this big ass cup holder, and you're like, yeah, that's what it is. It's like a big ass cup
Yeah.
holder, and I was laughing because I was like I get it, because you want a place
Yeah.
to have your drink, but then you have this
Yeah.
big fucking cup holder that looks
Yeah.
stupid on
It's
your handlebars, right?
yes. It's over there on the shelf somewhere. It didn't last very long because
Yeah.
it's a big ass cup holder. It
Yeah,
looks
because it's
stupid.
but you can put it on
Yeah.
your bike on a road trip, right? And then you got
Yeah.
a big ass
Yeah.
plate cup holder for your big ass cup, right?
Yes.
But but I mean, if you really, and here's the thing, like, so I went to an event this weekend, and I got to see the guys. I got to see the guys that do the Hoka Hay and the guys that ride with the mile makers, and so they
Mile
were
monsters.
mile monsters, yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, now I like to put miles on. Nothing like these guys, right? Guys that are putting 100,000 miles on their bikes in 100 days. I mean, just like stupid riding. And when you see these bikes, you're like, wow, you really ruined that motorcycle by all the shit that they put. I mean, there's guys that have tablets and they're like GPS monitors and satellite dishes,
Oh
and they
yeah.
have external gas tanks, and they have external water tanks. So they'll carry like 3 gallons of water on their bike, so they're drinking. I'm like, if you're riding for so long that you're gonna get dehydrated on the ride
Yeah.
before you stop, I would just piss myself. Like, I can't stay
Yeah.
on a motorcycle that long. Like, there's no
Yeah.
way, you know?
Yeah, it's impressive what they do. It's not for me. Like,
No.
I love long distance
No.
riding. You
Yeah.
know, like you rode Sturgis or
Yeah.
what I was trying to do in March. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. But man, good for them though.
No.
If that's what works for you, they own it. They love it. Good for them. But
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
These guys that are riding 1,500 miles every 30 hours or something like that, or
Yeah.
1,000 miles a
well,
day.
yeah. Who's the guy out of Houston, Seltzer or whatever? I can't remember his name, but he
Sester Pendants.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday, this morning I woke up and it was one of the first stories on Instagram. He's like, "Yeah, I did a quick 1,800 off to work.
Yeah.
1,800,
Yeah.
just casual.
Yeah, because
1,800 miles.
he was at the event that I was at in Brainerd, Minnesota. And he rode back down to Texas.
That down to Houston.
Yeah, or down
That's
to
wild.
yeah. So I mean, like that kind of riding, it's absolutely it's insanity to me. But you see those bikes and like you look at them and you look at all the shit that's on their bikes, and I was like, that's not for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I like a motorcycle I still like it to look industrial, and I like all, you know what I mean? I also want it to look cool. So not everything on my bike is practical. Some of the shit just looks
Yeah.
cool, right?
Yeah.
But I also realize, like I'm 50 years old. I have a backrest on my bike. If you don't like it, eat a dick, because I have, I'm 6'3" and I have a bad back, and I'm not trying, and I love to ride my bike, so I'm trying to support myself and not be crippled when I'm 70.
Yeah. If you don't want to ride with a dude who has a backrest, then we ain't gonna ride together.
Right, exactly,
I
right,
I can't go very far without a backrest.
right,
Yeah,
So
you got more issues to deal with than just that.
right,
yeah.
I
Oh, I
mean,
know.
if that's your hurdle, like,
Right.
come
Yeah.
on, man.
right. But
Yeah.
so what's been your biggest frustration coming into like motorcycling or content creation? Was there one thing that you ever was like, you know what, fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore, this is not for me? Did you ever hit a wall like that?
Yeah. I did a few months ago. There's no rhyme or reason to what video does well and what video doesn't. I guess there is. I just don't know it. So I would make some what I thought were really good videos. Even my buddy Jason, we went to the horse races one time, and I put that video. I said, Jack, that's one of the best. I mean, it just flowed. It was just great, and it did. And then you kind of half-ass some video, and it gets, the most watched video I have through all the social media platforms is like 70,000 views, and that's on a. If you, Luke, you may remember when we were on trip to Sturgis, we pulled in to see Jason's parents' house in Mink Haven, Colorado, and she videoed us upright with her phone, us pulling in, coming down the mountain and pulling in, and I put the John Denver song, uh, Colorado Rocky Mountain
Yeah.
High. It's like 60 seconds long. So that she filmed that for a minute. It took me 2 minutes to edit it and put it on, and it gets 70,000 views. And I spend 3 or 4 hours making what I think is this masterpiece, and 1,000 people watch
Oh
it.
yeah.
So, but you kind of lose perspective. Like I was getting frustrated with that because I'll go weeks without getting any subscribers. But then I remember thinking, Jackie, and my son actually, it's funny how life goes in circles. But my son's like, Dad, you're not doing it for that, are you? You're not doing it. You didn't start doing it, so don't worry about it. And really, he's right. And so I did hit a wall. It wasn't very long, and I'm okay with it. So now I really try not to just. There was a time where I'm looking at my YouTube Studio app all the time, like literally every 10 minutes to see if I get subscribed. Stupid, stupid stuff. So it is. There's a frustrating part to it, but you got to keep it in perspective. I never had the intention of being this YouTube motorcycle star, and that's not what I'm trying to be anyway. So then it doesn't really matter. I spend every night responding to the greatest emails, the greatest messages on Instagram from fans all over. I mean, I got one today that the guy said, "You changed my life," and so you keep that in perspective, man. This is nothing but fun. I love doing it. It's a lot of work, but instead of sitting in my recliner watching YouTube or TikTok, I sit in my recliner and edit video or respond to comments most nights, and it's great. I've got some lifelong friends now that I've met through this whole YouTube deal in such a short amount of time. So, man, there is some frustration, but I try to keep it in perspective because in the big scheme of things, this is ain't that big a deal.
I can appreciate that. I mean, I'm newer to this, like you, and even newer. And Ryan's been doing this quite a while. And for me, like I'm used to kind of have an idea what the playing field is, and with these
Yeah.
algorithms, no damn clue
Mhm.
what any of it is. So I I,
Yeah.
I appreciate you saying that because I was in the same boat early on when we started the podcast a few months ago. It was like, looking multiple times a day. Oh, how many views? I mean, whatever. And I was keeping
Yeah.
track for a while, just trying to get an idea of like rhyme or reason, like just views and what days were hot. And I was like, wait, it doesn't matter. I'm not getting paid for
Yeah.
this. This isn't my
That's right.
job. This is
That's
fun.
right.
We're only going to do this
Yeah.
unless it's fun. So I,
Yeah.
like you, I didn't quite hit the wall, but I had that realization like, oh, pump the brakes, dude. It ain't worth it, man.
Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
going to work, it's going to work. If not, that's okay too, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I
No,
get
and
it.
I really enjoy y'all's show. I watch most of them. I found myself, it's hard. It is extremely hard to, when you get to a certain point, to comment on like I watch them and I hit the like button and all this stuff on all this stuff that I watch,
Sure.
but just trying to keep up with my own shit, I'd be commenting all the time if I just, so there are some smaller channels that have reached out to me and want me to do stuff and send me their videos to watch. And I know they want me to comment on all that stuff. And I try to do all that, but I probably sound like an arrogant asshole here, but it's just you have to, at some point you have to stop and put the phone down or put the iPad down or the laptop, and you just can't keep up with all of it. But
Yeah.
I really enjoyed y'all's show. You do a good job, and it
Thank you.
takes time, but yeah, I think you got something here. So
Well, appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah,
yeah,
it's been a lot of fun. I mean, it's had this idea, and I'm thankful that Ryan wanted to. It he was thinking the same thing if was going to do another podcast, and it's really I think it's come to
well, because
life
it's
the way
real.
we
Yeah,
wanted. Yeah,
it's real. Y'all don't have the radio voice, and
I got a face
it's
for
real.
radio. I'll tell you that, but I don't know. I don't know about the
Yeah.
voice. I don't know about the voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, and that's
So
like before we started, like what folks didn't hear was, hey, we try to do this in one take, and if we need to edit something, so be it. But we just want it to be as raw and real as possible, and this is who we
yeah,
are. And I think that's
yeah.
exactly how you approach
That's what
yours.
people are looking for. Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
people are looking for.
Well, and you get
that's
that
awesome.
you get a lot more honest engagement too, because I've even heard of. It's really funny, right? I've heard of these people say that they get kind of to a certain point on YouTube, and then they're like, "Oh, I hate that term influencer. Don't call me an
Mhm.
influencer. I'm not an influencer." And I you know what I want to say? Fuck you. Like
Yeah.
you absolutely are. Like we all
Mhm.
are, right? If you're a parent, you're an influencer. If you have a pet,
Yeah.
you're a fucking influencer. Like, stop saying that.
Yeah.
You like, people want to act like it's a bad word. All you have to do is
Yeah.
turn it on its head. If you want to be if you don't want to be if you don't want to be if you think influencer is a negative term, then what you really need to do is you need to make sure that you're doing it in a positive way, right?
Right.
The best thing you could ever do is if you're like in public somewhere and someone recognizes you for something that you did on social media, that you go over and you tell them how fucking awesome it is that they watch your shit, or that they commented, or that they recognized you. That makes them feel like they're the best thing in the world. And why shouldn't it, right? Because I'm just a regular dude. And it was so funny because 2 years ago we went to Mama Tried, and that happened to me. This guy was like, he walks up to my friend and he was like, "Hey, is that so and so from so and so?" And my friend's like, "Yeah, go over and talk to him." He's like, "Oh, no, I don't want to bother him." And my buddy's like, he's just a guy. He's
Yeah.
like, he guys like, walk by him and fart, like, whatever, you know what I mean? He's
Yeah.
like, he's just a guy, like, and that's what gets me, is that, like, I I know for a fact that I have said things that haven't had an influence on products people have purchased, or, wanting to ride the bike. I have been influenced myself by things that I wanted to do. I will tell you this, and I think I told this story a long time ago. Um, I was influenced probably to start doing this again by Adam Sandoval. Adam
Hmm.
Sandoval was who and really what it was is, I watched his video. We're really close to the same age, and he was like camping beside his bike with like a lean-to and a fucking blanket. And I said to my wife, I'm like, I want to do that. And my wife's like, your old ass will never get off the ground. She's like,
Yeah.
you can't do that. And I go motorcycle camping, and like, I have a cot, and I do all these things so
Yeah.
that I'm not trying to kill myself, right? But I was influenced by, I'm like, yeah, like, what am I waiting for? Kind of like what you said, you know what I mean? What am I waiting for? Like, I want to start doing this again. And I
Yeah.
had done it for so long when I was a kid as a passenger and whatever, that when I got back in it was life changing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It changed my whole perspective. It changed everything and brought all these wonderful people. And so for me, I don't have anything negative to say about it. Like, I love social media. I mean, right? It's a dumpster fire, right? But I still love it. It's
Right.
it's the dumpster
Yeah.
fire that I love. I love YouTube.
Yeah.
I love podcasting. I mean, Luke and I have become good friends, and I really like doing this. And does does it matter to me if people listen to our podcast? It does. Am I hanging on my hat that this is going to make us famous? I am not.
Hmm.
I have no illusions or delusions of that. But do I
Yeah.
want people to listen? I do, because that does
Yeah.
feel good, right? You want people
Yep.
to watch what you're doing and listen to what you're doing. And I think that, you're on your path, right? It's not anybody else's path. And that's what it really reminded me, because I'll be honest with you, I have not like consumed a lot of motorcycle content like I did last night in a very,
Hmm.
very long time. And I will tell you that watching your channel last night was super refreshing. And only in the fact that it reminded me, like, it felt honest again, and it felt real. And I can fully appreciate that. And so, man, just keep doing what you're doing on that path, because I think that you'll get out of it everything that you want. You explained why you did it in the beginning, and why you don't worry about the rest of that. And
Yeah.
the next time somebody's like, "Oh, if you change your Road King like that, I'm going to unsubscribe," then just say,
Yeah.
"Thank you, thank you, please do that." Because if you're
No,
gonna,
that's what I do.
yeah,
That's yeah.
if you're gonna
Yeah.
unsubscribe because you don't like what I did to my Road King, have a nice life.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No.
it,
I did the video with Warren in his new Gold Wing, and a guy commented, "Now I'm here for Harley content, so long, Jack." And I was about to just rip into him, and I said, man, that's disappointing. But I said Warren was in a high speed motorcycle accident, and the Gold Wing DCT was the best choice for him. So it sounds like my channel is not for you because Warren is a great friend of mine, and he's going to be riding with us. So good luck to you, and just the peace sign, and that's it.
yeah,
You know.
Yeah.
yep. And that's
But I appreciate you saying that.
exactly, and that's what I don't like, right? I mean, like I don't ever want to ride with like a Harley elitist, right? And I say that
Yeah.
because I just told Luca last night we were on another podcast, and I told him if I sat on a Honda, I'd probably burst into flames,
Yeah.
right? And but that, like, for me, it's about legacy, right? Like
Yeah.
I had an opportunity 2 years ago to buy the first bike I ever rode on, which just happened to be a 1985 FXRT. And I bought one 2 years ago, and it's in my garage, and I
Yeah.
kind of nicknamed it Legacy because that's my legacy. I ride Harleys because that's where I started and that's who I am. But
Oh yeah.
I am not like I want anybody to ride whatever. Like, my first bike that I bought for myself and learned to ride on and took my motorcycle test on was a Kawasaki. And if I
Mm.
were to go get like a cafe racer style bike right now, I'd get a Kawasaki W900. That bike is fucking that bike is awesome. I love that bike.
Yeah.
And so I got nothing against it, but for me and who I am and what I want, I'm a Harley guy. Like that, I have a fucking Harley. I've got the
Yeah.
Barn
Yeah.
Shield on my arm.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We are too, and we give him shit about it. We give each other shit about everything,
Right.
but none of us care what you ride. But
Yeah.
we're
Well,
still gonna give you a hard time about it.
well, I mean, all your buddies probably don't drive the same kind of pickup truck as you do.
No,
And
yeah, I
you
know.
still go on a road
I'm
trip
just
with them, right?
what fascinates. Excuse me. What fascinates me is the guy that feels like instead of just moving on, you don't have to tell me you're leaving. Just leave.
Right.
I've never made a comment like that on somebody's. I've seen a bunch of videos every day that I don't like, and you know what I do? I just
Yeah.
scroll past it. I don't. I'm just
Yeah.
amazed at the people, and it's like anything in life. People don't like success for the most part. So they're people. It's they have a negative. So you know the people that make those comments, I'm not going to be friends with you anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Because I
starving
just
for
don't.
attention.
That's
Yeah.
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 It's like the FXR is the cool kid bike right now, right? And what's
Yeah.
hilarious is the '80s when the FXR kind of hit. Um, Anybody that rode an FXR was shunned by the Harley purists, right? They
Yeah.
were all like shovelhead guys. They thought the guys that
Yeah.
rode Evos were a bunch of pussies. And then they came out
Yeah.
with the FXR, which was just a Japanese Harley, right? That's what
Yeah.
everybody called it. And when they came out with the FXRT, they couldn't give those fairings away. People were tearing them
Yeah.
off and throwing them in the trash cans, and
Yeah.
hitting them with hammers in their garage, and they
Yeah.
hated them, right? And now it's like the cool kid bike. You haven't been baptized as a true Harley rider unless you buy and own an
Yeah.
FXR, right?
Yeah.
And
That's right.
I think it's funny because it's all, at the end of the day, like, none of that shit matters. Like,
No.
I love the phrase "get in where you fit in." Like
Yeah.
that's what I love in motorcycling. Find your crew, find your people, find where you fit, and do that, because you're
Yeah.
going to be so much better off.
I want to go back to what you were saying earlier. So again, 3 years ago, I'd never ridden a motorcycle in my life, and this year we roll into to. I was staying in Deadwood. The guys I was riding with were staying in Lead, and we go through Lead first, and they peel off to go to their hotel. And so I'm riding through Deadwood to get to my hotel down Main Street in Deadwood. 3 years ago, I'd never ridden a motorcycle in my life. Riding down Deadwood, and this group of bikes pulls up beside me, and one guy hollers, "Bogey, we love your show!" And they're revving their engine, and if you don't like that, and then we go to the meet, and I got recognized at a lot of the places that we went throughout the week, and I would tell everybody, "Man, thank you for saying, thank you for watching. This is." We had a meet and greet, and every one of them, I just said, "Thank you for being here." I was just
Hmm.
and I'm just thinking, this is the coolest thing. I mean, and you get to meet the people and they were so kind. And one lady messaged me a week later, and she said, "I was at the Full Throttle Saloon for your meet and greet, but I got too scared and I was too shy to come up and say hi to you." And I'm like,
Aw.
"Oh man, you don't be scared. Nobody, ain't nothing to be
Yeah.
scared of." I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just a redneck from Texas, but people have this perception when they see you on YouTube. Social media, like you said, people love to hate it, but without it, we wouldn't be doing this. We'd have to have a show on the Discovery Channel. We'd
Right.
have to be on
Mhm.
Fox News. We have to be on. There was no outlet for us. So social media has so many great things, and it's allowed us to do this and meet great people. So yeah, I love every minute of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
what
people
you
that pretend like they don't, that's what bothers me.
Yeah.
It's cool to say, I don't like that. I don't like social media, but yeah, you do. You wouldn't be doing this if
well
you
you
didn't.
put you're going to get out of it what you put into it. I was talking about
Yeah,
this last night on the podcast we were on. I mean,
yeah,
if you put
yeah,
garbage into it and make comments
yeah,
like that, you're going to get garbage out of it. That's
yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
just like anything in
And make no
life.
mistake, I work my ass off at this, and I know y'all do too. It is work.
Hmm.
You know,
It
it is
is for
work.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a
But
there's a cadence like Luke and I have talked about it. There's a cadence where we're talking about what we've done or what we've recorded, and like I know like what I have to do before next Sunday, before the podcast needs to be uploaded and ready to release, and I have to get Luke the thumbnails, and like there's a cadence to it. We
mhm.
have to have some discussions in the middle of the week about what we want to talk about next week if we're not going to have a guest on, and I might bring up a topic he doesn't like, and he might bring up a topic I don't like, or whatever, and or we're
you
both
never
like,
like my
Yeah,
topics. It's
no,
bullshit. I'm joking.
listen to this motherfucker, right? So I
yeah,
mean, there's a cadence to all of it, and I'm not looking for sympathy because I chose this, right? So I don't want
yeah.
anybody to feel bad for me. So don't
No,
don't get me wrong, like don't feel bad for me, but it is, and you have to do it for yourself because if you're
hmm,
doing it for that affirmation, the affirmation is like the great byproduct, right? But
yeah,
if you're doing it because you want that affirmation, because you want to be YouTube famous, because you want to be Mr. Beast, like there's not going to
yeah.
be another one of those guys, right?
No,
So like you don't think that, oh, I'm going to start a YouTube channel because I want to be Mr. Beast. No, you won't be. I'm
no,
just going to tell you right now,
yeah,
you will not be.
no. You will not
Yeah,
be.
Right. And
for
so
sure.
like, like, and like you said, my best performing video on YouTube has like 200,000 views. It's an 8-minute talking head video, no pictures,
Yeah,
no content, one camera view, one microphone,
yeah,
one angle. I talk about what you should do to your motorcycle before you do exhaust. And
yeah.
I've gotten love and
That's great.
hate on that video
Yeah. Oh yeah,
ridiculously. Yeah. And so, like you said, you never know. But it was something that I wanted to talk about. And it's
yeah,
100% my opinion, not based on
yeah,
any type of fact. I didn't fucking open up a book. I did no research. I was like, you know what? There's a bunch of shit you should do to your bike before you put a loud exhaust on it. You know?
yeah,
And so, yeah, it's just uh, that's the biggest lesson that I've learned, and I think that, like I said earlier, I become a lot more drawn to what I call organic content, content that feels
hmm,
real, content that feels like I'm having a conversation with somebody, or I'm watching. Um, what I like about what you've done is where you said, "Well, I'm just doing my day, right?" But really, what
hmm.
you're doing is you're telling a story about your day, and I think
Yes.
I think that's what we're drawn to, and I think that's even what we do when we're on a podcast. We're trying to tell a story, right? And what I hope comes from this is I hope a bunch of people that don't know who you are know who you are when we put this podcast out.
Yeah. Well, that'd be great. Um, I said I told somebody this the other day. If I was really trying to, Professional Monkey said this one time. He said, if you want to be YouTube famous, don't be in the motorcycle content. Go build a log cabin in Alaska and don't say a word and just
Oh my
film it
God,
and make
right?
it 2 hours long and 2 millions of people will watch that.
Yeah.
You know, uh,
And don't even
so
speak English, right? The
don't
ones
even,
that are
yeah, I know.
the ones that are really, and it's really funny. We all know exactly who we're talking about because we're probably
Yes.
all watching the same guys, right? And
Yeah.
those videos are so ridiculous because if you get caught watching it, you watch the whole fucking
It
thing.
sucks you
What's the
in.
whole thing?
Yeah.
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 Like I just watched 17 minutes of a guy's footsteps in the woods. Did that
Yeah.
just
I
happen?
know. I know. I know.
That's funny.
No, but he's absolutely
Yeah.
right. But hey, you know what? Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for so much for taking the time, telling your story. I'd love to have you back on sometime. Tell everybody out there in podcast world where to find you. Throw out all your stuff.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me. I really do appreciate the invite from Luke, and it's nice to meet you here, both of you guys, electronically, and hope to meet y'all in person one day. But yeah, so on YouTube, I'm Bogey Biker on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. I have a website, bogeybiker.com. We've got merch for sale and things like that on there. But yeah, but YouTube is my main focus. I use the other avenues to try to drive people to my YouTube channel. Um, Last thing I was going to say about the analytics, if I was trying to really make the most watched videos, I'd make my videos 8 minutes because that's what YouTube the analytics say that people watch on my videos. But I can't tell the story that I'm going to tell in 8 minutes. So every episode that you see, I really am trying to tell the story of that day in the best way I can. And I don't care how long it is. It's usually 15 or 20 minutes. But yeah, I'm just trying to tell the best story I can with each video. We're just normal folks doing normal motorcycle stuff. We have a great time. We got lots of great guys that ride with us. The people that do watch, I have returning viewers that watch each and every video, and 99% of the comments that I get are very uh, complimentary. People seem to like what we're doing. We're trying to just build a community of like-minded folk. And so, yeah, if you're so inclined, go check it out. Bogey Biker on all the social media stuff.
And if you want to ride some fun roads in Texas next month, make sure you get down to Twisted Sisters.
Twisted
That'll be
in,
a lot of fun.
yeah,
Texas. Yeah.
Twisted in Texas too, October 24th through the 26th. We had a guy ride in from Canada last year. We had people come from all over the country, and based on the messages I'm getting, we'll have uh, 200 or 300 bikes there from all over the U.S. So it should be a good time. Yeah, and here's some good
Awesome.
music too. We didn't touch on the music aspect, but music's a big part of our life, big part of my channel. And so yeah, if you like good music,
I
I
feel like
appreciate
that's
I
a good
appreciate that
story.
you said that you had somebody writing in from Canada, because I wasn't sure, being from North Dakota and the only state that you've never been to, if I'd even be allowed in Texas.
Yes, you're Yankees are welcome too. You
Oh
we'll
know,
get
shit!
your we'll get you a visa
yeah,
so you can visit
You
Texas.
can give
There you
me a
yeah,
go.
yeah,
visa. I'd appreciate
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'd appreciate that. What
I
what
do want to get up to North Dakota. If I was going to move somewhere from Texas, it would be South Dakota, North Dakota, Idaho. I really love Idaho, Montana, that whole kind of northish, northwest. I get really, I love like the grumpy old men in the summer around here about the summers in Texas. The way y'all probably get grumpy about the winters up there, I get grumpy about the summers. So I have this fantasy of living, summering in somewhere up there. I am a multi-hundred-aire on YouTube now, so maybe I can afford
That's right.
a summer place.
That's right. You have to be with those subs and those views. You have to be pulling down at least 80 or
Oh yeah,
$100 a month. I
I'm
mean,
telling you, yeah, I'm rolling in the
that's
dough. I'm
right. I
telling you.
mean, that shit is going to be retirement money before you
No,
know
I
it.
know, I know. Oh,
Well,
no,
Jack,
so
thanks
thanks again
again
for having
for
me.
thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it, man. We'll get you back on here for too long and catch up with you.
I look forward to it.
All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll see y'all next week.
And just hang out a minute here.